First thing we're going to do is take Miss Yamimoto and put her on a bike stand. We need that back tire elevated and free spinning, and I'll explain that in a moment. In order to locate the speed sensor coupler, we're going to need to get rid of our seat and our side panel here. So let's do that right now. And yes, I know, Miss Yamimoto has a dirty bum. Don't judge me. Your speed sensor coupler is located just to the front of your battery and up from your shock, and it's tucked right back in here. The speed sensor coupler is to the front of the battery. To the back, sort of above the battery, is another coupler that looks just like it, has yellow, blue, and black wires. This is your tail light coupler, alright? So don't confuse the two. Speed sensor coupler, tail light coupler. But let's show you how to find out for sure if this is actually your speedo coupler right here. Turn your bike on, and with your bike in neutral, go to the back of the bike and spin the wheel. This is why we have the bike elevated off the ground. Okay, give her a spin, and we have speed sensing. When you disconnect the speed sensor, you might need yourself a little screwdriver. There's a little tab here that you can push down with your fingers, but I find it just a little bit easier. Shove that little screwdriver down inside, and you kind of wiggle her out, and disconnected. And again, spin the tire. And we have no reading, so we have effectively disconnected the speed sensor. Now we need to get our supplied cable from HealTech. It's the connector with the female and the male plugs, just like the one you unplugged there on the bike. Okay, and this other 4-pin connector will eventually be plugging into the actual SpeedoHealer. Whenever you're dealing with electrical connections, remember you want to hear that magical little click, because it always sucks when you have to go back and rip things apart because something wasn't seated properly. Listen. Yes, everybody loves that. So let's tuck these back and out of the way so that our side panel can go on. We don't want these things being pushed up against the other connections here in the battery lead with the side panel. So I'm just going to tuck mine back in as best as I can where the stock unit sat, which is down here behind this cable that runs back. And there we go. Now the other end that actually connects to the SpeedoHealer, I'm going to just run along the side of the frame here and up and underneath, and it's going to live inside here where the air box area is. And just tuck that in so it's decent. Alright, before we attach the SpeedoHealer to its permanent place, we're going to connect it up to the bike and make sure things are functioning as it should. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to physically connect it, getting that little click so we know we're in. We're going to hold down the select button, and while we're holding it down, we're going to turn the ignition on. The ignition comes on, we have the letter T indicated. We're going to release the select button, and now if we turn the wheel, the letter T should flash. Right, so we have our connection. Now we can press the select button again, and this will get us out of the test zone. And if you spin the tire again, the speedometer reads like it did before we connected the SpeedoHealer. This is where I'm going to install my SpeedoHealer. It's going to be a temporary position on top of the airbox intake. Basically because I'm going to be getting rid of this at some point here in the near future. And when I do that, this will all be open and I'll have to kind of fab something up. But for now, it's just going to live here. And I'm going to attach this 2-pole connector, which is for your top speed indicator. So basically, you're out riding, you know, you hit 120k. When you stop riding, you press the button, and it'll tell you on the speedo what your top speed was. I've mounted my switch for my top speed memory underneath my handlebars here. Zap strapped it to my handlebars underneath my highway dirt bike top clamp. So you can just reach down, give it a press, and your top speed will show up on your speedometer. And that is the install for the HealTech SpeedoHealer version 4. The only thing left to do now is take her out on the road and calibrate this thing. And that will be the next video. So click on it and we'll walk through that.